he's never threatening to take either, because now he's completely locking in these pawns, completely locking in the bishop. This knight is completely locked in by my other pawn chain. Like, this is a match made in heaven. Look, I can even play g3 next turn. I have connect 4, and I played a very exciting game against a national master, Grant Peed from Northern Virginia. I think he started playing chess during COVID years, and he has slowly made his way up to national master in the last half year. So congrats to him, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to play him for the first time. So let's see here. I played e4, he played c5, and this is a no engine recap. And and whoever wins this game wins the quad. Actually, wait, no. If I draw this, I win, because he actually drew one of the 1700s in the last round. So if I draw this, I win the quad. I guess, but I wasn't really thinking about that. I just wanted to play my best chess. But yeah, this is a no engine recap until at the very end, and the time control is game in 55, delay 5 for each side. So it can be about 2 hours at most. So I play knight c3, he plays knight c6, and I play bishop e5. So this is the main way I play against the Sicilian after they commit their knight to c6, and he plays g6. So definitely one of the most common responses. And I take on c6, he takes back with his b pawn, and I play d3. So I traded off my light square bishop, and now I'm rebuilding on the light squares with my pawns. He plays bishop g7, I play f4, he plays d6, I play knight f3. So just developing my pieces, I put my knight behind my f4 pawn, so I have this extra space in the center. He plays rook b8. Wait, no, he plays rook b8. Next move. He plays knight h6 here, which allows him to move his f-pawn in the future. So I castle, he goes rook b8, which hinders the movement of this bishop, which hinders the movement of this pawn, and also hinders the movement of this knight. So rook b8, definitely a common move to play in a position like this because it's a half-open b file. But I usually don't see it in this move order. Usually I see rook b8 a bit later, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same. So I play queen e1. Because I can't go b3 immediately, of course, because my knight would be hanging. So I play queen e1, preparing b3 by defending my knight. He castles. Now I play b3. And he plays f5. And I play e5. So yeah, f5 strikes the pawns in the center. Usually when your opponent has two pawns side by side in the center, you always want to challenge that. That's just like a good rule of thumb. You always want to challenge or undermine that center in some way, shape, or form. I definitely don't want to take the pawn. I'm not even sure what he would take back with. He might take back with his knight. He might take back with his pawn, maybe. Probably not the pawn. He could take back with the bishop if he wanted to. Probably not the bishop either. So I assume the knight would be the best. And then he has good control of the d4 square, so he can maybe move his knight there. Not 100% sure what he would do. Taking with the knight does feel good because you're taking it off from the edge of the board. And yeah, white could play g4, attacking the knight again, but like, I don't think white is doing themselves any favors by making all these weaknesses. Okay. So he plays f5, I play e5, and I'm blocking in this bishop. So now that I think about it, thinking about this out loud for the first time, because I have not looked at this game since I played it, I wonder after rook b8, if I had played king h1, and he castled now, yeah, I guess I still probably want to go queen e1 anyways, to defend my knight, to prepare b3. But now I have queen e1, f5, e5. Is this any worse that happened in the game? In some cases, I might not... Oh, wait, I just realized something. Maybe castles, I can play knight a4 now. So f5, e5. And I say that just because maybe I can go queen e2 and rook e1 as opposed to queen e1. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'm getting so off track here. So he castles queen e1, f5, e5. And he plays... What in the world? Okay, now we're back to the game. He plays queen c7, adding more pressure on the e5 pawn. But I have 1, 2, 3 defenders. He only has 1, 2, 3 attackers on it. So I have enough defenders to cover all of his attackers. So I'll play bishop b2. Putting my bishop on this long diagonal. So that after he plays knight f7 to add another attacker on this e5 pawn, I can meet it with knight h4, opening up my bishop. And yeah, he never really wants to take. Like, if he does ever take, then the c5 pawn is just... Like, the double isolated c-pawns are not impressing anybody. And I definitely don't want to push. Like, I don't want to push this pawn to e6. Even though it does, like, squish his position some. After knight d8, I can't defend my pawn. Like, my pawn's lost. If I play knight g5 to defend it, he can play h6. And this is no bueno. So, yeah, bishop b2 and knight a4 is the way I chose to play. He plays h6 to perhaps prepare g5. And he's playing very, very fast. At this point, after h6, he has 51 minutes after h6. And I have 44 minutes after move queen h4. So I'm playing relatively fast too. But man, like, with a position like this, he's just playing so fast. And that becomes extremely relevant. It becomes extremely relevant because I start to tank in time because I feel like I should have something, but I can't quite find it. So I play queen h4 after like 5, 6, 7 minutes of thought because it does hang the e5 pawn, and there's a lot of different things he could do. For example, he could take on e5 and then play g5. Or he could play g5 immediately. Or he could take on g5 like an infinite number of times, but then lose the h6 pawn. And so he can win a pawn just to lose a pawn. Or if I could take back with a knight. If I take back with the pawn, then he can throw in g5 himself. And I can't go to h3 because of g4. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many different things to think about. Like legitimately. I was like, there's so many different things to think about. But I ended up playing it. I forget the exact variation. Like, one idea was that if he plays g5 immediately, one idea. So he's attacking my queen. If I take in the center, he could take on g5, and then I could maybe take on h6. And like, this is good for me. Probably. And this bishop on b2 isn't hanging because of the knight. So if knight takes f3, check. If he takes, I can just take with the knight. Oh my goodness, excuse me. I was also thinking about if g5, then I could play pawn takes pawn. And then if takes here. And I was like, is this good for me? I was like, what's happening here? So I was doing a lot of evaluation. But I determined it was good for me. I determined it was good for me. I think if he did take, I determined that was bad because of these double isolated pawns. And I thought I could probably, at bare minimum, take with the knight. And life is going to be okay. Because once again, if this happens, then the h6 pawn drops. And his king is really weak. Like, for example, if he plays queen g7, maybe I can go queen h6 and rook f3, rook g3. Maybe also, I mean, that's the main thing. I guess I could also just take the c5 pawn. And I have a good knight. I mean, just look at how this knight dominates this bishop. Absolutely crazy. Also, very cool symbol. Look at this. It's an arrowhead. That's cool. So yeah, I determined all the complications work out if he does take on e5 or if he plays g5. So he doesn't do either of those things. He plays bishop e6, connecting his rooks, putting his bishop out. But it's not super clear what this bishop is doing on e6. It's not very good there. And I play rook a e1. So now I am threatening to take on d6. For example, king h7 takes, and he has to take back with his queen to defend his bishop, because if he took back with his pawn, then his bishop on e6 would be hanging. So, and if this can happen, then this pawn structure is really, really bad, and I should be able to take advantage of that. I should be able to capitalize on that. So he doesn't take on he doesn't allow this bishop to be hanging, so he plays rook fe8. So now if I take on d6, after he takes back, then his bishop is defended. I play c4. This is a common move that you see in a position like this. So now I don't allow any nonsense. Like, some nonsense could include a move like c4, like for example, like c4, I guess. And if takes, let's say this knight wasn't here, then the bishop on b2 is hanging. So like, there's some nonsense like that, like, or if, like, who knows. So it's nice to just play c4, just to completely lock down this pawn structure, completely lock it down. And if he plays d5, great. He no longer has any pressure on e5, and I'm never going to take on d5. Like, if I play king h1, for example, like, he's never threatening to take either, because now I just completely lock in these pawns, completely lock in the bishop. This knight is completely locked in by my other pawn chain. Like, this is a match made in heaven. Look, I can even play g3 next turn. I have connect 4 and connect 3 on the opposite side. That's freaking awesome. So, anyways, this position is pretty good. So c4, I think it was a good move, locking down his pawn structure. He plays queen d7. Just a waiting move. Like, I legitimately don't think it does anything. Like, he doesn't want to take on e5. I thought one of his ideas, like, okay, maybe he wants... I played king h1 in the game, actually. But I thought maybe he wants to take on e5 and open up his queen. But no, he never wants to do that, because if he does ever do that, then these pawns are perpetually weak. Like, the c5 pawn, you're going to lose that. Like, I was legitimately thinking that maybe... I wasn't sure what the move order should be. Like, maybe it takes... And then takes. If takes, then here. And this h6 pawn is still hanging. The c5 pawn is still hanging. The e7 pawn might be hanging after the bishop moves. This is very good news bears for me. So, but he's not going to play that. So I knew he wasn't going to take on e5. He plays rook b4, which I have no idea what the threat is. Like, I legitimately have no clue. I guess one idea is that, like, if he ever takes on c4, I can't take back with the b pawn because the knight on e4 would be hanging. I don't know. It's just a waiting move. Like, one thing Grant did well was make okay moves fast. Like, I thought I was making good moves, but I was making good moves slowly. I was making every move at this point, after queen h4 earlier, I was making every move within 6 minutes. But he was making every move within 2 minutes or 1 minute. So the time disparity just kept growing. I played queen g3, attacking the h6 pawn and allowing my h pawn to move. So the biggest question for white is, like, how do you continue to make progress here? Like, that was a tough question for me to answer. I developed my pieces as much as I can. My knight on a4 isn't great, but there's no really path out. Like, if I could teleport my knight anywhere, where would it even go? Like, I can't even find a better square for it. And my knight is doing a good job, because now if I ever do take on d6, my knight is protecting my bishop on b2 against the bishop that's on g7. So I feel like my knight is actually doing a useful job here. Oh, fun fact, I guess one thing I was calculating was, like, him sacrificing the rook and then taking on de5. And I was like, is this his plan? Is he trying to sacrifice the rook? No, I think rook b4 was just a waiting move. Anyways. I play queen g3, attacking his pawn on g6. He defends. I play h4. And I'm saying, like, hey, I'm going to attack you on the king side, bro. That's what I'm going to do. He plays rook g8. And I play queen h3 relatively quickly. So rook g8 x-rays the queen through the bishop and pawn. It's probably a useful move, especially if I play h5 immediately, because then maybe he can consider taking. But maybe that's okay for me. Maybe I don't mind if he does that, because now I'm going to take this h6 pawn, or this h5 pawn. So maybe I should have played h5. But in this case, there's like g5 and takes. Oh. Yeah, takes. And then if I take this, then he can take this. Discover attack of my queen. And maybe this is not what I want. So that's why rook g8 is a good move. And I ended up playing queen h3 relatively quickly here, because I thought maybe I could set up a little trap here. Like, for example, if he plays a move like a5 or rook b8, rook bb8, which that's what game he played, my first thought was maybe I'm going to play knight g5 check, with the idea that if he takes with a pawn, his king is stuck and he has to give back a piece for it. And I was like, wait a second, that's just a trade? And is it even a trade that benefits me? Like, I actually am not sure about that. So my original intention behind queen h3 was play knight g5 check to execute some of those ideas, when I thought, no, I'm not doing that. I don't think that's a very good idea. And here I was thinking for a while. Here. And I end up, he told me after the game that he can't do much right now, and that maybe I should consider bringing my queen back over here, triple stacking on the e file, and then taking on d6 whenever I'm ready. I rush with it. Part of it was low time. At this point, I have 22 minutes after queen h3, and after my next move, I have 17 minutes. While he has 38 minutes. The time definitely becomes a factor here. But I thought my transformation of the position made a lot of sense. So, there's a lot of tension. These pawns have tension. I guess that's mostly it, now that I think about it. I thought there was more. But yeah, there's a lot of tension here in the center. A lot of pieces that could potentially see each other. So I decided to take on d6. One of the things I have to calculate is what happens if he takes on b2. And my first thought was, oh, I'm going to take back with the knight. And then he's going to take back with the pawn, and we continue from here. But then I realized, oh my gosh, if he takes the bishop on b2, then I can take the pawn on c5. So now, I'm temporarily up 2 pawns, but now I'm attacking both his bishop and his queen. And if he takes the pawn back, well, now his pawns are split, and I can take on e6, defended by my rook, and now I am up a pawn. And if he takes this pawn, well, I was like, that can't be good. Then maybe I can play the move. Oh, wait, in this case, I can play knight fg5, winning the queen on d3. So he can't take that pawn. I was like, okay, this is very good. And if he can't go there, I'm just going to remain a pawn. Maybe I'll play d4 and d5 next, maybe. Maybe I will, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I thought, like, wow, this is very good. Oh man, I'm so tired. It's been a long day. And after, if he does take my bishop and I take on c5, and if he wants to like not take on d6 and go to queen c8, I forgot what I was gonna do. I think I was probably just gonna take like usual. Then after takes, I'm not sure what my plan was, to be honest. Honestly, d4 doesn't look horrible. I'm sure there's another move I could find. And I thought, okay, and if he just, so that's the critical line, bishop takes b2. And if he just takes back, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just trade bishops and play d4, and I'm going to get my knight into the game, attacking his bishop. And his knight and rook on f7 and g7, they seem really awkward. That was my argument. And this all happened in the game. I took on d6. He took back. Took on g7. He took back. I played d4. I was like, wow, I'm playing very actively. Look at that. I do allow him to get rid of his doubled pawns, but now I'm attacking his bishop. My rooks are centralized. My knight is on the edge of the board, but maybe he can hop in at some point. Maybe I can play queen e3 and double up on the open file. Like, there are definitely some ideas here, and it's not super easy for him. I do not think it's very easy for him at all. But he plays knight d8 to defend his bishop on e6. I play h5. Provoking. Saying, hey, you're going to have weaknesses here. That's kind of my idea. He plays bishop f7. And here I could probably just take and have the bishop be on g6 here. But I'm kind of silly. I just play queen e3. Like I said, I'm getting lower and lower on time. But it's still not a great excuse. He takes on h5. Then I go back to h3. He plays rook g4 to attack f7, but also block the queen's vision on the f5 pawn. Then I go queen d3, attacking the pawn from this angle. And if I end up taking this pawn, his king's going to be very, very weak and naked. So this pawn is a very, very critical pawn to lose or keep for him. He plays bishop g6, but now his bishop is on g6, no longer on f7, guarding the infiltration squares. So now I play rook e3 to double up on the e file. He plays rook b7. I play rook fe1, and he plays queen f7. Because right now, if he took the pawn, then I could go check here, and maybe takes, attacking the rooks, attacking the knight, and if check here, then he can't defend both his rook and his knight. That's kind of the idea. And he might still be winning this position, I don't know, but it looked interesting at the very least. So he plays queen f7 to avoid that. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going to triple stack. And if you just play a random move, for example, then I'm going to go here. And after it takes, then I'm threatening your knight. So if you move your king, I'm going to take your knight. And if you take me, well, now that's a check. And let's say after knight here, then rook here, I'm going to win your a5 pawn. Or honestly, maybe even your c6 pawn. Yeah, probably your c6 pawn, actually, not the a5 pawn. Because actually, if you do block with the knight, then after it takes, and now I have these two connected passers over here. So it's not super easy for him. But there's one key thing I miss. And that's after rook takes f4. The thing I missed was after rook e7, there's takes, and a rook check. After the king moves, rook takes. And I have to take back here. And he's going to remain up 2 pawns. He's up 2 pawns in this position. And I was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like, I blundered rook takes f4 and rook takes f1. If my king was on g1, this would not be a threat. For example, rook e7, takes, and if my king was on g1, I could just take back with my king. Or I could just take with my king, I should say. If my king was on g1, but because my king is on h1, I can't do that. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good. This did not happen in the game, but the triple stack did, and him taking on f4 also did, and time is running out. Time's ticking. I have under 3 minutes at this point, or something like that. Or maybe I just have about 5 minutes in this position, I forget. But I am going knight e6, attacking the knight, attacking the rook. He takes, and then plays rook e4. Which is a very, very good move. It forces trades. So my queen is no longer defending my rook. So my rook is hanging, my queen's hanging, so I have to trade rooks. But now this pawn is defended by the bishop very, very well. And there's really not much I can do in this position. Which is crazy, because this bishop is the hero at the end of the day. Despite being so bad on c8, so bad on e6, so bad on g6. Now it's good on g6. So it had a hero's journey in this game. But I play rook f1, attacking the queen. I'm just down 2 pawns. This is all losing. I play queen d2, attacking the d6 pawn. He plays queen e5, a very nice move, centralizing his queen, defending everything. I play queen d3, he plays rook g7. I play knight c3, getting my knight away from the edge of the board, attacking the pawn. He plays queen g5, I take, and I play rook f6. He defends, I play rook e6. He defends with his pawn. So now after I take, he takes, and I play rook e5. He just plays d4. After I take, he plays d3. And he has a very, very simple plan of just pushing pawn. And now he's bringing his king over. Very, very good technique by Grant. And I try to bring my king in, but it's not enough. His king gets further in than me. And now I play g3. And I play check. He goes here. I go back. He checks me and wins the pawn, and I resign. So very, very sad ending. Very, very sad ending. I think Grant did a good job of converting this endgame. I mean, very, very simple play by him, but simple is good. Before that, though, I think I was really, really putting a lot of pressure on him. I want to turn on the engine here just for a second, so we can see the eval. Yeah, it's about plus 1.5, plus 1.7-ish around this position. And yeah, I mean, I'm still better after all this is said and done, but not as good as it could be. Rook f2 is good. Queen f7 is good. For him, I mean, rook f2. So I'm supposed to double up or triple up immediately, apparently according to the engine, perhaps. And even here, this position is plus 2 for me. But I'm honestly too tired to go through the variations right now. I think we're going to hit the game review. I'm about to pass out. It's 11 p.m. I started playing at 11 a.m. So I'm tired. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to game review. I'm going to check it on. I'll show my own later. But I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.